What is the name for the individual leaves of the calyx or outer whorl of a flower? Sepal. A sepal is a leaf-like structure that forms part of the calyx, the outermost whorl of a flower. Its primary function is to protect the developing bud before it opens. By what name was William Frederick Cody better known? Buffalo Bill. William Frederick Cody, known as Buffalo Bill, was an American soldier, bison hunter, and showman. He became famous for his Wild West shows, which toured extensively and popularized cowboy culture. What do these people have in common? Fournier, Baudon, Gill and Baskerville? They invented typefaces, fonts, which are named after them. These individuals are celebrated typographers who designed influential typefaces, which are still widely used today. Their contributions are fundamental to the history and development of graphic design and printing. Who is a mythological lumberjack who appears in tall tales of American folklore, usually believed to be a giant as well as a lumberjack of unusual skill, who was first documented in the work of American journalist James McGillivray? Paul Bunyan. Paul Bunyan is a legendary giant lumberjack from American and Canadian folklore, often accompanied by his blue ox, Babe. These tall tales, originating in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, celebrate hard work and the pioneering spirit, becoming a significant part of North American cultural heritage. According to legend, where did Queen Guinevere end her days after the death of her husband, King Arthur? A nunnery at Amesbury. Queen Guinevere is a central figure in the Arthurian legend, renowned as King Arthur's wife and Lancelot's lover. Following the tragic end of Arthur's reign, legend states she repented her past actions and retired to a nunnery at Amesbury, where she eventually died. Which movement was founded by Robert Stevenson Smith Baden-Powell? Boy Scouts. Robert Baden-Powell, a British Army officer, founded the Boy Scouts movement in 1908. This global youth organization aims to develop young people physically, mentally, and spiritually, promoting values of self-reliance, service, and character development. Which major contemporary art exhibition, held every 2 years, began in 1895 mainly for decorative arts, showed increasing interest in innovation in modern art from 1907, and added festivals of music in 1930, international film in 1932, theater in 1934, and contemporary dance in 1999? The Venice Biennale. The Venice Biennale is a preeminent international art exhibition with a rich history, showcasing contemporary art and architecture. It has expanded significantly since its inception to include major festivals across various artistic disciplines like film, music, and theater, making it a pivotal event in global culture and a key indicator of artistic trends. Which Greek philosopher and mathematician, born on Samos around 582 BC, established a school at Croton, Crotona? Pythagoras. Pythagoras, an influential ancient Greek philosopher and mathematician, founded a school in Croton, present-day Crotone, Italy, that emphasized numerical and geometric principles. His work profoundly impacted the development of mathematics, particularly with the Pythagorean theorem, and also contributed significantly to philosophy and music theory. What estate, presented to the British nation in 1917, is the official residence of the Prime Minister? Chequers. Chequers, a historic country house in Buckinghamshire, serves as the official country residence of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. It was gifted to the nation in 1917 by Lord and Lady Leigh of Fareham to provide a private retreat for prime ministers to work and entertain official guests away from London. Hydrogen sulfate is the chemical symbol for what? Sulfuric acid. Hydrogen sulfate is the chemical formula for sulfuric acid, a highly corrosive mineral acid also known as oil of vitriol. It is one of the most important industrial chemicals globally, widely utilized in the production of fertilizer, petroleum refining, and various manufacturing processes due to its strong acidic and dehydrating properties. Who, though he died at 35, wrote over 600 works including 23 string quartets, 5 string quintets, 21 piano concertos and 19 operas? Mozart. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was an extraordinarily prolific and influential composer of the classical era, whose genius was evident from a very young age. Despite his early death at 35, he produced over 600 works across various genres, including symphonies, concertos, operas, and chamber music, profoundly shaping Western classical music with his melodic beauty and structural perfection. Where are the crown jewels for Queen Elizabeth II of Great Britain stored? Tower of London. The crown jewels of the United Kingdom, a magnificent collection of ceremonial objects and regalia, are permanently housed and displayed in the Jewel House at the Tower of London. This historic fortress serves not only as a secure repository for these priceless artifacts but also as a major tourist attraction, showcasing centuries of British monarchical heritage and state ceremony. The first case of AIDS was discovered in 1981 in which city? Los Angeles. The first recognized cases of acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS, were reported in Los Angeles in 1981, marking the beginning of the global AIDS epidemic. These initial reports from the Centers for Disease Control, CDC, described a rare lung infection, pneumocystis pneumonia, in 5 young gay men, which later led to the understanding of HIV as the causative agent. What is the capital of Serbia? Belgrade. Belgrade is the capital and largest city of Serbia, strategically located at the confluence of the Sava and Danube rivers. It serves as the economic, cultural, and administrative hub of the country, playing a significant role in Southeast European affairs. What was the last position that Lyndon B. Johnson held when he became President of the USA? Vice President. Lyndon B. Johnson served as Vice President under President John F. Kennedy. He assumed the presidency following Kennedy's assassination in November 1963, making him one of the few vice presidents to accede to the presidency midterm. What was the cause of the sinking of the German battleship the Admiral Graf Spee? Her captain sank her. The German battleship Admiral Graf Spee was scuttled by its captain, Hans Langsdorff, off the coast of Montevideo, Uruguay, in December 1939. This decision was made after the Battle of the River Plate to prevent the ship from falling into Allied hands. What is the name for what is basically an induction coil whereby the voltage of an alternating current can be increased or decreased without changing the frequency? Transformer. A transformer is a passive electrical device that transfers electrical energy between two or more circuits through electromagnetic induction. It is essential for stepping up or stepping down AC voltage, enabling efficient long-distance power transmission and adaptation for various electronic devices. Who discovered Uranus and one of its moons, Titania, between 1781 and 1787? Herschel. William Herschel, a renowned German-British astronomer, discovered the planet Uranus in 1781, initially mistaking it for a comet. He later also identified two of its largest moons, Titania and Oberon, significantly expanding the known solar system. Which country has Nuwalifa, on the island of Tongatapu, as its capital? Tonga. Nuwalifa is the capital city of Tonga, a Polynesian sovereign state comprising 171 islands in the South Pacific Ocean. It is situated on the island of Tongatapu, which is the largest and most populous island of the archipelago. What is the common name for chorea, a disease characterized by irregular involuntary movements, commonly found in children? St. Vitus's dance. St. Vitus's dance is the common name for Sydenham's chorea, a neurological disorder characterized by rapid, involuntary, jerky movements. This condition is often associated with rheumatic fever and typically affects children and adolescents. Which single company, based in Johannesburg, South Africa and London, England, controls a significant proportion of the trade in diamonds? De Beers. De Beers is a multinational corporation primarily involved in diamond mining, distribution, and industrial diamond manufacturing. For much of the 20th century, De Beers held a near monopoly over the world's diamond supply, playing a dominant role in shaping the global diamond industry. Which river, 210 miles long, whose principal tributaries are the Wye, Avon and Teme, empties into the Bristol Channel? 7. The River Severn is the longest river in Great Britain, flowing approximately 354 kilometers, 220 miles, from its source in Wales through England. Its major tributaries include the River Wye, River Avon, and River Teme, and it discharges into the Bristol Channel. Who was the mother of Marie Antoinette, wife of Louis XVI of France? Maria Theresa of Austria. Maria Theresa was the only female ruler of the Habsburg dominions and the last of the House of Habsburg. She was the formidable mother of Marie Antoinette, who became the Queen of France by marrying Louis XVI. Her reign, 1740 to 1780, was marked by significant administrative and military reforms. Where is Ho Chi Minh City? Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh City, formerly known as Saigon, is the largest city in Vietnam. It is a major economic, cultural, and educational hub in Southeast Asia and served as the capital of the Republic of Vietnam, South Vietnam, until 1975. What 19th-century English draftsman became known for illustrations of exquisite decoration, morbidity, and decadence, especially his illustrations for The Rape of the Lock? Aubrey Beardsley. Aubrey Beardsley was a prominent English illustrator and author associated with the aesthetic movement and Art Nouveau. He was known for his elegant yet grotesque black ink drawings, often depicting themes of decadence and the macabre, with notable works including illustrations for Oscar Wilde's Salome and Alexander Pope's The Rape of the Lock. What is meant by persona non grata? An unwelcome person. Persona non grata is a Latin phrase meaning an unwelcome person. In international relations, it is a formal designation by a host country to a foreign person, typically a diplomat, signifying that they are no longer acceptable and must leave the country. A test developed in 1924 by R. L. Smith and G. E. Sandland at Vickers Limited as an alternative to the Brinell method, is used to measure what? The hardness of materials. The Vickers hardness test, developed in 1924, is a micro-indentation hardness test used for a wide range of materials. It measures the material's resistance to plastic deformation from a standardized source, providing a numerical value indicative of its hardness. Where is Howard Hughes's wooden aeroplane, the Hughes H-4 Hercules, the Spruce Goose, stored? Evergreen Aviation Museum in McMinnville, Oregon, USA. The Hughes H-4 Hercules, popularly known as the Spruce Goose, is a large prototype strategic airlift flying boat designed and built by Howard Hughes's company. Despite its nickname, it was primarily constructed from birch wood. It made only one brief flight in 1947 and is now preserved and displayed at the Evergreen Aviation and Space Museum in McMinnville, Oregon. Between 1955 and 1970, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr., and Angela Davis were significant people in which movement in the USA? Civil Rights Movement. Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr., and Angela Davis were pivotal figures in the American Civil Rights Movement, a struggle for social justice from the mid-1950s to late 1960s. The movement aimed to end racial discrimination and segregation against African Americans, securing equal rights and opportunities through nonviolent protest and legal challenges. What is the name for the order of insects with two membranous, usually transparent, wings such as mosquitoes, house flies, and gnats? Diptera. Diptera is an order of insects commonly known as true flies, characterized by having only two functional wings, forewings, and small, club-shaped altera, hindwings, for balance. This order includes a wide variety of insects such as mosquitoes, flies, and gnats, many of which are medically or agriculturally significant. What is the capital city of Jamaica? Kingston. Kingston is the capital and largest city of Jamaica, an island nation located in the Caribbean Sea. It serves as the country's primary economic, cultural, and administrative center. What sculptures are situated at the base of Nelson's Column in Trafalgar Square, London? Lions. At the foot of Nelson's Column in Trafalgar Square, London, stand four majestic bronze lion sculptures. These iconic lions were designed by Sir Edwin Landseer and added to the monument in 1867, becoming a famous symbol of the square. Which clipper ship, built in 1869, is preserved in a dry dock at Greenwich, London? Cutty Sark. The Cutty Sark is a renowned British clipper ship constructed in 1869, originally for the tea trade and later for wool. Preserved in a dry dock at Greenwich, London, it serves as an important historical artifact, showcasing the engineering and speed of the clipper era. What was the surname of the US president commonly known as JFK? Kennedy. JFK stands for John F. Kennedy, who served as the 35th President of the United States. He held office from 1961 until his assassination in 1963 and is remembered for his New Frontier domestic agenda and leadership during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Passiflora edulis, also known as passion fruit and maracuya, is called by what name in South Africa? Granadilla. Passiflora edulis is the scientific name for the plant commonly known as passion fruit, which has various regional names globally. In South Africa, this wine, native to South America, is typically referred to as Granadilla, highlighting regional linguistic differences for the same species. Cimarron County, Texas County, and Beaver County are all located in the northwest of which U.S. state? Oklahoma. Cimarron County, Texas County, and Beaver County comprise the Panhandle region of Oklahoma, situated in the northwestern part of the state. This area is notable for its distinct geography and historical significance within the United States. Nancy Astor made history in Britain in 1919 by doing what? By becoming the first woman Member of Parliament, MP, to take her seat in the House of Commons. Nancy Astor's election in 1919 and subsequent seating in the House of Commons marked a pivotal moment for women in British politics. Although Constance Markievicz was the first woman elected in 1918, she refused to take her seat, making Astor the first to actively participate in Parliament. Her achievement paved the way for greater female representation in parliamentary democracy. Which prestigious international sailing trophy was originally known by names such as the Royal Yacht Squadron Cup and the 100 Guinea Cup? The America's Cup. The America's Cup, initially known by various names including the Royal Yacht Squadron Cup, is the oldest international sporting trophy. Established in 1851, it is a challenge-driven international sailing match between two yachts and represents a significant historical event in competitive sailing and maritime innovation. What is the collective term for the animal life found in a particular region or time period? Fauna. Fauna refers to all the animal life present in a particular region or time. It is a fundamental term in biology, ecology, and geography, often used in conjunction with flora, plant life, to describe the biodiversity of an ecosystem. What literary genre connects playwrights such as George Etheredge, William Wycherley, Thomas Shadwell, Thomas Otway, Colley Cibber, and William Congreve? They are renowned for writing Restoration comedies. These playwrights are prominent figures of the Restoration period, 1660 to 1688, in English literature, known for their distinctive genre of Restoration comedy. This theatrical form satirized the manners and customs of the upper classes, often featuring witty dialogue, intricate plots, and themes of love, marriage, and social status. In which country were the Sabra and Satila refugee camps located, which were the sites of a massacre in 1982? Lebanon. The Sabra and Satila massacres occurred in September 1982 in refugee camps located in Beirut, Lebanon, amidst the Lebanese civil war. The event, in which Palestinian and Lebanese civilians were killed by a Lebanese Christian militia, drew international condemnation and remains a significant point in modern Middle Eastern history. In which year was the revolver, characterized by its rifled barrel and revolving cartridge cylinder, invented? 1835. The modern revolver, an iconic firearm, was famously patented by Samuel Colt in 1835. This invention revolutionized personal weaponry by allowing multiple shots without reloading, significantly impacting military and civilian applications throughout the 19th century. What is the name of the area in the East End of London, historically an island, that is almost entirely surrounded by a large meander of the River Thames and features the West India Docks to its north? Isle of Dogs. The Isle of Dogs is a peninsula in East London, famously almost encircled by a meander of the River Thames. Historically a marshland, it became a crucial area for London's docks, particularly the West India Docks, playing a significant role in the city's maritime trade and industrial history. From which country did the Panama hat originate? Ecuador. Despite its name, the Panama hat originated in Ecuador, where it is known as sombrero de paja toquilla. These traditional brimmed straw hats gained international recognition after being shipped through Panama during the 19th and early 20th centuries, particularly during the California Gold Rush and the construction of the Panama Canal. Which is the world's second largest continent? Africa. Africa is the world's second largest continent by both land area and population. Covering approximately 30.3 million square kilometers, it accounts for about 6% of Earth's total surface area and 20% of its land area. What instrument is used to measure the specific gravity, or relative density, of liquids like beer and wine? Hydrometer. A hydrometer is an instrument used to measure the relative density, specific gravity, of liquids. It operates on the principle of buoyancy, floating higher in denser liquids and lower in less dense ones. This tool is widely used in industries such as brewing and winemaking to monitor fermentation by tracking sugar content. King Bhumibol Adulyadej, the ninth king of the House of Chakri, who reigned from 1946, became the world's longest reigning current monarch of which country? Thailand. King Bhumibol Adulyadej, also known as Rama IX, reigned over Thailand for 70 years and 126 days, from 1946 until his passing in 2016. At the time of his death, he was the world's longest reigning head of state and monarch. His reign was a period of significant development and political change in Thailand, and he was deeply revered by his people. What famous items do Samuel Pepys, John Wesley, John Evelyn, and Charles Greville have in common? Diaries. Samuel Pepys, John Wesley, John Evelyn, and Charles Greville are all historically notable for keeping extensive personal diaries. These diaries serve as invaluable primary historical sources, offering profound insights into the social, political, and cultural landscapes of Britain during their respective eras, most famously Pepys's accounts of 17th century London. Granite is an example of what sort of rock? Igneous. Granite is a common type of felsic intrusive igneous rock, which forms from the slow crystallization of magma below Earth's surface. Its characteristic large mineral grains are a result of this slow cooling process, occurring deep within the Earth's crust. What is meant by vox populi? The voice of the people. Vox populi is a Latin phrase meaning the voice of the people. It refers to the opinion or belief of the majority of the population, often invoked in discussions about public sentiment or democratic principles. Who used the pseudonym Bab? W. S. Gilbert. W. S. Gilbert, half of the renowned operatic duo Gilbert and Sullivan, used the pseudonym Bab for his early humorous drawings and satirical verse. This pen name became associated with his distinctive style of comic writing and witty observations. Where is the Tropic of Cancer? 23 degrees 26 minutes 22 seconds north of the equator. The Tropic of Cancer is the most northerly circle of latitude on Earth at which the sun can be directly overhead at noon. It marks the northernmost position of the subsolar point, which occurs at the June solstice. Braeburn is a variety of what? Apple. Braeburn is a popular cultivar of apple, originating from New Zealand in the 1950s. It is known for its firm flesh, crisp texture, and a distinctive sweet tart flavor, making it suitable for both eating fresh and baking. What is a tabular display of the chemical elements, generally credited to Russian chemist Dmitry Mendeleev in 1869, which illustrates recurring trends in their properties? Periodic table. Dmitry Mendeleev published his first version of the periodic table in 1869, arranging elements by atomic mass and predicting properties of undiscovered elements. This systematic arrangement revolutionized chemistry by revealing recurring trends and relationships among elements. What is the connection between the sport of badminton and the Duke of Beaufort? Badminton was the name of his home. The sport of badminton takes its name from Badminton House in Gloucestershire, England, the seat of the Duke of Beaufort. It was here in the mid-19th century that the game, originating from battledore and shuttlecock, was further developed and popularized by British Army officers returning from India. What is the name for playing the notes of a chord in sequence rather than all together? Arpeggio. An arpeggio is a musical technique where notes in a chord are played or sung in succession, either ascending or descending, rather than simultaneously. This creates a flowing, harp-like effect, adding embellishment and movement to musical compositions. Which country gained its independence from Australia on the 16th of September 1975? Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea achieved full independence from Australia on September 16, 1975. Prior to this, it was an Australian-administered United Nations Trust territory. This event marked a significant milestone in the decolonization process in the Pacific region. What regularly changes at Buckingham Palace, serving as a popular tourist attraction? The Guard. The changing of the guard ceremony at Buckingham Palace is a popular tourist attraction in London, symbolizing the transfer of responsibility from the old guard to the new guard. Members of the King's Guard, identifiable by their bearskin hats and red tunics, perform this highly choreographed military ritual. What is the national and first official language of the Republic of Ireland? Irish. Irish, Gaelic, is constitutionally recognized as the national and first official language of the Republic of Ireland. Although English is predominantly spoken in daily life, Irish holds a significant cultural and historical position, with efforts made to preserve and promote its usage. Where did the main Allied invasion force, comprising the US Fifth Army and the British Eighth Army, land on the Italian peninsula on the 9th of September 1943 during World War II? Salerno. The Allied invasion of the Italian peninsula during World War II began with the main landing force, comprising the US Fifth Army and the British Eighth Army, at Salerno on September 9, 1943. This operation, codenamed Operation Avalanche, was a crucial part of the Allied campaign to liberate Italy from Axis control. Who was the spouse of Queen Margaret II of Denmark when she ascended to the throne on the 14th of January 1972? Prince Henrik. Upon Queen Margaret II's ascension to the Danish throne on January 14, 1972, her spouse was Prince Henrik of Denmark. Born Henry de Laborde de Montpezat, he married the then Crown Princess Margaret in 1967 and served as her royal consort until his passing in 2018. Which country launched an attack against the US naval base at Pearl Harbor in 1941? Japan. Japan launched a surprise attack on the US naval base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, on December 7, 1941. This devastating attack prompted the United States to formally enter World War II, fundamentally altering the course of the global conflict. With what work in the early 18th century is James Bradley associated? Confirming the speed of light and its aberration. James Bradley's work on stellar aberration in 1725 provided strong evidence for the Earth's orbital motion and allowed for the first accurate determination of the speed of light. His discoveries significantly advanced the fields of celestial mechanics and physics. A Shiite terrorist group founded by Hassan I Saber in 1090, dedicated to the murder of enemy leaders, led to which word in the English language? Assassin. The term, assassin, originated from the Nizari Ismaili sect, often called Hashashin, active in Persia and Syria from the 11th to 13th centuries. Led by Hassan I Saber, they were known for covert assassinations of political and religious rivals, leading to the adoption of their name into European languages. Which Bulgarian-born artist is famous for wrapping landmarks and landscapes in fabric? Christo Javashev, was a Bulgarian-born artist renowned for his large-scale environmental artworks, often created with his wife Jean-Claude. Their distinctive style involved wrapping prominent landmarks, natural landscapes, and buildings in fabric, transforming public spaces and challenging perceptions of art. What color is the dye made from woad? Blue. Woad, Isatus tinctoria, is an ancient flowering plant historically cultivated in Europe for a blue dye extracted from its leaves. This natural indigo dye was widely used before the advent of synthetic dyes, playing a significant role in textile production for centuries. What is the oldest and southernmost city in Russia, with 7 miles of city wall? Derbent. Derbent, located in the Republic of Dagestan, Russia, is considered one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. Its ancient fortress and walls, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, have historically controlled the strategic Caspian Gate, a vital defensive passage between the Caucasus Mountains and the Caspian Sea. In which country did student protest leader Steve Biko die while in police custody in 1977? South Africa. Steve Biko was a prominent anti-apartheid activist in South Africa and a co-founder of the Black Consciousness movement. His death in police custody in 1977 sparked international outrage, drawing global attention to the brutality of the apartheid regime and solidifying his status as a martyr for freedom and racial equality. If the numbers from 1 to 10 are multiplied by each other, what is the last digit of the result? O. The product of numbers from 1 to 10, 10 factorial or 10, includes 10 as a factor. Any number multiplied by 10 will result in a number ending in 0. Therefore, the last digit of 10 will be 0. What is the capital of the Canadian province of Newfoundland and Labrador? St. John's. St. John's is the capital and largest city of the Canadian province of Newfoundland and Labrador. It is situated on the eastern tip of the Avalon Peninsula, making it the most easterly city in North America. What is the term for a territory administered jointly by two or more states? Condominium. In international law, a condominium refers to a political territory over which multiple sovereign powers formally agree to share equal domination. This shared sovereignty mechanism allows for joint administration and control, distinguishing it from disputed territories. How many different kings ruled the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland between 1840 and 1900? None. During the period from 1840 to 1900, the British throne was occupied by Queen Victoria, who reigned from 1837 to 1901. Consequently, there were no kings, but one reigning queen, during this entire span. What is the collective term used by the Roman Catholic Church for baptism, confirmation, Eucharist, penance, anointing of the sick, holy orders, and matrimony? Sacraments. In the Roman Catholic Church, these 7 rites are known as sacraments. They are considered visible signs of God's grace, instituted by Christ and entrusted to the Church for the sanctification of believers. How was Marie Antoinette executed? Guillotined. Marie Antoinette, the last queen of France before the French Revolution, was executed by guillotine on October 16, 1793. She was condemned for treason by the Revolutionary Tribunal during the tumultuous period known as the Reign of Terror. What term describes the type of locomotion involving walking on the soles of the feet? Plantigrade. Plantigrade locomotion refers to the gait of animals, such as humans, bears, and raccoons, where the entire sole of the foot makes contact with the ground. This method of movement offers stability and balance, distinguishing it from digitigrade, on toes, or ungulligrade, on hooves, gaits. Which royal residence in London, originally part of St. James's Palace, served as the London home for Princess Elizabeth and the Duke of Edinburgh between 1949 and 1952? Clarence House. Clarence House, built in 1825-27, is a significant royal residence in London. It was the home of Princess Elizabeth, later Queen Elizabeth II, and Prince Philip before her ascension to the throne, and later became the official residence of King Charles III, then Prince of Wales, from 2003 until his accession in 2022. Which scientific law states that, for a fixed mass of gas at constant temperature, the volume is inversely proportional to its pressure? Boyle's law. Boyle's law, formulated by Robert Boyle, is a fundamental gas law describing the inverse relationship between the absolute pressure and volume of a gas. This principle is valid provided the temperature and the amount of gas remain constant within a closed system, forming a cornerstone of thermodynamics. Which location is home to the world's oldest continuously used bowling green, with its first recorded use dating back to 1299? Southampton, England. The Old Bowling Green in Southampton, England, holds the distinction of being the oldest continuously used bowling green in the world. Its history dates back to 1299, making it a unique historical site that showcases the enduring legacy of the sport of bowls. Among the works of which English landscape painter are The Fighting Temeraire and The Son of Venus Going to Sea? Turner. J.M.W. Turner, 1775-1851, was a renowned English romantic landscape painter, celebrated for his expressive use of light and color. The Fighting Temeraire, 1838, depicts a revered warship being towed to its final berth, symbolizing the end of an era, while The Son of Venus Going to Sea, 1843, exemplifies his mastery of maritime scenes. Who was the first elected female head of state in Africa? Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf served as the president of Liberia from 2006 to 2018, becoming the first elected female head of state in Africa. Her presidency focused on rebuilding Liberia after years of civil war and promoting economic recovery, for which she was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2011. On the Isle of Man, the House of Keys is concerned with what? Government. The House of Keys is the directly elected lower house of Tynwald, the Parliament of the Isle of Man. It is responsible for legislative duties and plays a crucial role in the island's self-governance. In 1932, the Kingdom of Hejaz and Najd unified with the regions of Al-Hasar and Qatif to form which country? The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was officially established in 1932 by Abdulaziz ibn Saud, following the unification of various regions under his rule. This unification marked the foundation of the modern Saudi state, with its vast oil reserves later transforming its economic and geopolitical significance. According to the Bible, the descendants of Noah tried to erect which construction against the will of God, who destroyed the plan by making the builders talk a variety of languages? Tower of Babel. The Tower of Babel is a mythical structure described in the book of Genesis, built by a united humanity to reach the heavens. According to the narrative, God, observing their pride, confounded their language and scattered them across the earth, explaining the diversity of human languages. Composer Arcangelo Corelli, 1653–1713, is associated with which instrument? Violin. Arcangelo Corelli was a prominent Italian Baroque composer and violinist, significantly contributing to the development of the concerto grosso and sonata forms. His works are primarily for strings, with the violin being central to his compositions and his own virtuosity as a performer. What mountain's volcanic eruption, on the island of Sumbawa, Indonesia, has discharged the most material? Tambora, 1815. The 1815 eruption of Mount Tambora in Indonesia is considered the largest volcanic event in recorded human history, releasing an estimated 160 cubic kilometers of material. This catastrophic eruption led to global climate anomalies, causing the year without a summer in 1816 across parts of Europe and North America, and widespread crop failures. What church, known as the Irvingites, mainly due to the preaching of Edward Irving, was founded in Scotland in 1832? Catholic Apostolic Church. The Catholic Apostolic Church, often referred to as Irvingites, after its prominent preacher Edward Irving, emerged in Scotland in the 1830s. This Christian denomination emphasized the imminent second coming of Christ and sought to restore the gifts of the early church, such as prophecy and speaking in tongues. During the American Civil War, what city was the capital of the Confederacy? Richmond, Virginia. Richmond, Virginia, served as the capital of the Confederate States of America for most of the American Civil War, from May 1861 until its fall in April 1865. Its strategic importance as a major industrial and transportation center, coupled with its symbolic value, made it a primary target for Union forces throughout the conflict. What does bona fides mean? Good faith. Bona fides is a Latin term meaning good faith or sincerity. In legal and formal contexts, it refers to the honest intention to act without deception or malice. It implies a genuine belief in the truth or validity of one's actions or statements. What is the largest and first discovered by Piazzi at Palermo in 1801 of the minor planets? Ceres. Ceres is the largest object in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter and was the first asteroid discovered in 1801 by Giuseppe Piazzi. It is now classified as a dwarf planet, being the only one located in the inner solar system. English is a subsidiary official language of India. What is the main official language? Hindi. The Constitution of India designates Hindi in Devanagari script as the official language of the Union, with English continuing as an auxiliary official language. This provision is outlined in Article 343 of the Indian Constitution, reflecting India's linguistic diversity. Carlos Menem was the president of which country from the 8th of July 1989 to the 10th of December 1999? Argentina. Carlos Menem served as the president of Argentina for 2 consecutive terms, from 1989 to 1999. His presidency was marked by economic reforms, including privatization and market liberalization, which significantly transformed the Argentine economy. What was the name of the literary coterie that met regularly around 1750 that included Mrs. Vesey, Mrs. Odd, Mrs. Elizabeth Montague, Elizabeth Carter, Mrs. Hester Chapone and Benjamin Stillingfleet? Blue Stockings. The Blue Stockings were a prominent informal literary and intellectual circle of women in 18th century England, focusing on intellectual discourse rather than card games and gossip. They promoted female education and challenged societal norms concerning women's roles in intellectual life. Where did Malcolm Campbell set a land speed record of 245.7 meters p.h. in 1931? Daytona, USA. Sir Malcolm Campbell was a British racing motorist and journalist who broke the land speed record 9 times in the 1920s and 1930s. His 1931 record of 245.7 miles per hour was set at Daytona Beach, Florida, using his famous Bluebird car, contributing to the early history of automotive engineering and speed records. What weather condition can cause a whiteout? Blizzard. A whiteout is a weather condition where visibility is severely reduced due to heavy snow and strong winds, which obscure the horizon and eliminate visual cues. Blizzards are severe winter storms characterized by sustained strong winds and falling or blowing snow, making them the primary cause of whiteouts. Which brass musical instrument has a slide mechanism that enables the sounding length of the tube to be adjusted? Trombone. The trombone is a brass instrument known for its distinctive slide mechanism, which allows the player to change the length of the air column and thus alter the pitch. This unique feature distinguishes it from other brass instruments that use valves to achieve different notes. What is the capital of Sri Lanka? Sri Jayawardenapura Kota. Sri Jayawardenapura Kota is the administrative capital of Sri Lanka, while Colombo remains the commercial capital. The Parliament of Sri Lanka is located in Sri Jayawardenapura Kota, which was designated as the new capital in 1982. Goyer's famous paintings, depicting the same woman in the same pose, one nude and one clothed, are known as the Nude Mare and the Clothed Mare. Mare. Francisco Goyer's La Mare Desnuda, the Naked Mare, and La Mare Vestida, the Clothed Mare, are a pair of oil paintings created between 1797 and 1800. These works are notable for their depiction of a reclining female figure, with La Mare Desnuda being considered one of the earliest totally profane life-size female nudes in Western art. Who was the last king of France? Louis XVIII. Louis XVIII was the last monarch of France to hold the title of King of France, reigning from 1814 to 1824, with a brief interruption during the Hundred Days. His reign marked the first restoration of the Bourbon monarchy after the French Revolution and the Napoleonic Wars. What is the French equivalent of the word, Mr.? Monsieur. Monsieur is the French courtesy title for a man, equivalent to Mr. or Sir in English. It is commonly used before a surname or as a respectful form of address. Whose 4 sons included an astronomer, a botanist, an army engineer involved in scientific explorations, and the head of a scientific instrument manufacturing company? Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin, the renowned naturalist, had several notable sons who pursued diverse scientific and engineering careers. This highlights the intellectual environment within the Darwin family and their contributions across various fields. James Edward Oglethorpe founded the city of Savannah, Georgia, after obtaining a charter from King George II to establish a colony for what kind of people? People impoverished and imprisoned for debt. James Edward Oglethorpe established the colony of Georgia in 1732, envisioning it as a refuge for the worthy poor of England, particularly those imprisoned for debt. This humanitarian motive was a significant factor in the colony's founding, distinguishing it from other English settlements primarily driven by economic or religious reasons. What is the name of the hall where meetings of the Salvation Army are held? Citadel. A citadel is the common term used by the Salvation Army to refer to its meeting halls or corps buildings. These citadels serve as centers for worship, community outreach, and various social programs run by the International Charitable Organization. In which country is the region of Aragon located? Spain. Aragon is an autonomous community in northeastern Spain, historically a kingdom. Its capital is Zaragoza, and it is known for its distinct culture, Mudéjar architecture, and Pyrenean landscapes. What amorphous form of graphite or pure carbon is used mainly as a lubricant for machinery? Blacklead. Blacklead, also known as graphite or plumbago, is an allotrope of carbon known for its exceptional lubricating properties. Its unique layered atomic structure allows the layers to slide easily over each other, making it an excellent solid lubricant in various mechanical applications. Who was the Archbishop of Canterbury when women were first ordained as priests into the Church of England? George Carey. George Carey served as the Archbishop of Canterbury from 1990 to 2002. During his tenure, a significant historical decision was made, leading to the ordination of the first women priests in the Church of England in 1994, marking a pivotal moment in its ecclesiastical history and for gender roles within the Anglican Communion. In which country is the city and naval base of Cadiz? Spain. Cadiz is an ancient port city in southwestern Spain, located on a narrow strip of land surrounded by the sea. Historically, it has been a crucial naval base and a major center for trade and exploration, particularly during the Spanish Age of Discovery. Which 17th-century composer wrote the opera, L'Orfeo? Claudio Monteverdi. Claudio Monteverdi was an influential Italian composer of the late Renaissance and early Baroque periods. His opera, L'Orfeo, premiered in 1607, is considered one of the earliest and most significant works in the history of opera, establishing many conventions for the emerging musical genre. Which of the 5 Great Lakes of North America is the only one that does not border the U.S. state of Michigan? Ontario. The Great Lakes consist of Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, and Ontario. Lake Ontario is the only one that does not share a border with the U.S. state of Michigan, instead primarily forming part of the international boundary between the United States, New York, and Canada, Ontario province. What is a cord of wood? 3.6 cubic meters. A cord is a traditional unit of measure for stacked firewood or timber, widely used in North America. By definition, a standard cord measures 4 feet wide, 4 feet high, and 8 feet long, equating to a total volume of 128 cubic feet, which is approximately 3.62 cubic meters. Which of Earth's oceans holds the most water? The Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean is the largest and deepest of Earth's oceanic divisions, covering about a third of the surface area of the planet. It contains more than half of the free water on Earth, making it the greatest reservoir of water on the planet. Which city was hit by a 7.5 MW earthquake, centered in the Moldgua Fault approximately 160 kilometers northeast of the city, on the 4th of February 1976 at 3:01 am local time, resulting in 23,000 fatalities and 76,000 injuries? Guatemala City, Guatemala. The 1976 Guatemala earthquake was a catastrophic event that struck on February 4, 1976. Centered on the Moldgua Fault, this 7.5 MW earthquake caused widespread destruction in Guatemala City and surrounding areas, leading to significant loss of life and injuries, making it one of the deadliest earthquakes in Central American history. What name is given to an involuntary spasm of the diaphragm muscle, often caused by indigestion, intoxication, or certain forms of pleurisy? Hiccup. A hiccup, commonly known as a hiccup, is an involuntary spasm of the diaphragm, followed by an abrupt closure of the vocal cords. This rapid closure produces the characteristic hic sound and can be triggered by various physiological factors. After being known by various names including the Congo Free State, Belgian Congo, and Congo Leopoldville, what was the, now, Democratic Republic of the Congo known as? Zaire. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, a Central African nation, has undergone several name changes throughout its history. From 1971 to 1997, during the rule of Mobutu Sese Seko, the country was officially known as Zaire, reflecting a period of Africanization policies aimed at national identity. Which Frenchman was a Franciscan, then a Benedictine monk, a teacher, a professor of anatomy, and a priest, who authored Gargantua et Pantagruel, a huge comic narrative full of miscellaneous learning from the 16th century? François Rabelais. François Rabelais was a major French Renaissance writer, humanist, and physician. His satirical works, particularly Gargantua and Pantagruel, are celebrated for their wit, erudition, and critical commentary on society, religion, and education in the 16th century, establishing him as a master of French prose. According to the Bible, who were Balthazar, Melchior, and Caspar? Three wise men. In Christian tradition, Balthazar, Melchior, and Caspar are the names traditionally given to the Magi, or the three wise men, who visited the infant Jesus after his birth. They are depicted as bringing gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, symbolizing homage to the newborn king. The technology industry center known as Silicon Valley is located in which state of the USA? California. Silicon Valley is a region in the southern San Francisco Bay Area of California, globally recognized as a hub for high-tech innovation and development. It is home to many of the world's largest technology corporations and thousands of startup companies, making it a leading center for innovation and venture capital. Octavian and Antony defeated Brutus and Cassius in 42 BC near which city in East Macedonia? Philippi. The Battle of Philippi in 42 BC was a decisive engagement in the Liberators' Civil War, fought between the forces of Mark Antony and Octavian against the forces of Caesar's assassins, Brutus and Cassius. The victory of Antony and Octavian marked a significant step in the transition from the Roman Republic to the Roman Empire. Which part of the body is made up of a series of vertebrae? Backbone. The backbone, also known as the vertebral column, is a crucial part of the axial skeleton in vertebrates. Comprising individual bones called vertebrae, it provides structural support to the body, protects the spinal cord, and allows for flexibility and movement. Where are the International Gemological Institute and the World Diamond Center located, playing an important role in setting standards, regulating professional ethics, training, and promoting the city's interests as a center of the diamond industry? Antwerp. Antwerp, Belgium, is globally recognized as a leading center for the diamond industry, hosting key institutions like the International Gemological Institute. Its historical significance and comprehensive infrastructure make it a crucial hub for diamond trading, cutting, and certification worldwide. In England, what word refers to a parish constable of the Anglican Church, often charged with duties of charity? Beadle. A beadle was historically a minor parish officer in England, frequently associated with the Anglican Church. Their duties typically included maintaining order, assisting with church services, and sometimes managing charitable distributions within the parish. What is a group of stars called? Constellation. A constellation is a group of stars forming a recognizable pattern or outline in the night sky, typically named after its apparent form or identified with mythological figures. While these stars appear close from Earth, they are often vast distances apart in space, their grouping being a perceptual phenomenon. Which European city is built at the mouth of the river Tagus? Lisbon. Lisbon, the capital of Portugal, is strategically located on the Iberian Peninsula at the mouth of the river Tagus, Tejo. This geographical position has historically made it a significant port city and a center for trade and exploration, playing a crucial role in the Age of Discovery. In 1885, who was the first person to attach a petrol-fueled internal combustion engine to a bicycle at Bad Cannstatt near the river Neckar? Gottlieb Daimler. Gottlieb Daimler, a pioneering German engineer, is credited with attaching the first petrol-fueled internal combustion engine to a bicycle in 1885, creating what is widely considered the first motorcycle. This groundbreaking invention at Bad Cannstatt was a pivotal moment in the development of modern transportation, leading to the creation of both automobiles and motorcycles. What is another name for lateral epicondylitis? Tennis elbow. Lateral epicondylitis, commonly known as tennis elbow, is a condition characterized by pain on the outer side of the elbow. It is an overuse injury caused by repetitive wrist extension and supination movements, leading to inflammation or micro tears of the tendons connecting the forearm muscles to the outside of the elbow. Which state of the USA, initially called New Connecticut, declared independence in 1777, issued its own coinage 1785 to 1788, exchanged ambassadors with France, the Netherlands and the USA, and in 1791 joined the US Federal Union as the 14th state? Vermont. Vermont holds a unique place in US history as a de facto independent republic, often referred to as the Republic of Vermont, between 1777 and 1791. It was the first state to join the Union after the original 13 colonies and played a significant role in the early development of American federalism. In 1828, Casparus van Houten Sr. patented a hydraulic press that revolutionized the production of what? Chocolate. Casparus van Houten Sr.'s invention of the hydraulic press in 1828 was a pivotal moment in chocolate production. This press allowed for the separation of cocoa butter from cocoa solids, leading to the creation of cocoa powder, which made chocolate more accessible, smoother, and suitable for a wider range of culinary applications. Who said, at a critical time in the history of inventions, "Mr. Watson, come here, I want you"? Alexander Graham Bell. This famous quote was spoken by Alexander Graham Bell to his assistant Thomas A. Watson on March 10, 1876, during the first successful bidirectional transmission of speech over telephone. It marks a foundational moment in the history of telecommunications, demonstrating the practical utility of the telephone. Who uses a petri dish? Scientist. A petri dish is a shallow cylindrical lidded dish used by biologists and scientists to culture cells, especially bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms, on a nutrient-agar medium. It is an essential tool in microbiology for research, diagnostics, and educational purposes. The Basque Country is centered mainly around which mountain range? Pyrenees. The Basque Country is a historical and cultural region located in the Western Pyrenees, straddling the border between France and Spain on the Atlantic coast. The Pyrenees mountain range forms a natural barrier separating the Iberian Peninsula from the rest of Europe, and significantly influences the geography, climate, and cultural identity of the Basque region. The river Don flows 1,325 miles from near Tula, Russia, to which sea? Sea of Azov. The Don River is one of the major rivers of European Russia, flowing into the Sea of Azov, an arm of the Black Sea. Its historical and economic importance includes navigation and agriculture in the Don Basin. What was a Roman name for France? Gallia. Gallia was the Roman name for a region in Western Europe, encompassing modern-day France, Luxembourg, and parts of Belgium, Switzerland, and northern Italy. Its conquest by Julius Caesar was a pivotal event in Roman history. The standard of 435 vibrations per second for Middle Earth that was laid down in 1859 is known as what? French International Pitch. The French International Pitch, standardized at 435 Hz for Middle A in 1859, was an early attempt to create a universal standard for musical tuning. While it was widely adopted for a period, the international standard concert pitch is now A4 equals 440 Hz. Wick and Thurso are towns in the far north of which country? Scotland. Wick and Thurso are significant towns located in Caithness, in the far north of mainland Scotland. They are known for their historical importance as fishing ports and their strategic location. What name is given to a young whale? Calf. The term calf is used to refer to the young of several large mammals, including whales, dolphins, elephants, hippos, and cows. This terminology helps in understanding zoological classifications. By the 15th century, coffee was known in the Middle East, Persia, Turkey, and northern Africa. It first arrived in Europe in the area covered by what modern-day country? Italy. Coffee, originating from Ethiopia, spread throughout the Arab world before making its way to Europe via Venice, Italy, in the 17th century. Its arrival marked a significant cultural and economic shift, leading to the establishment of coffeehouses across the continent. Who carried out his early experiments at Villa Grifone, Bologna, Italy, with his brother Alfonso? Guglielmo Marconi. Guglielmo Marconi was an Italian inventor and electrical engineer known for his pioneering work on long-distance radio transmission. His early experiments at Villa Grifone in Bologna were crucial in developing the first successful wireless telegraph system. Hattie McDaniel, an American actress, was the first black performer to win an Academy Award, in 1939 for Best Supporting Actress for her role of Mammy, in which film? Gone with the Wind. Hattie McDaniel made history in 1940 by winning the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Gone with the Wind. This landmark achievement marked her as the first African American to ever win an Oscar, breaking significant racial barriers in the film industry at the time. The CN Tower, which in 1975 became the world's tallest freestanding structure on land, is part of the skyline of which city? Toronto. The CN Tower, located in Toronto, Canada, was completed in 1976 and stood as the world's tallest freestanding structure for over 3 decades. It is a prominent communication and observation tower, symbolizing Toronto's skyline and a major tourist attraction. Who was the youngest First Lady of the USA? Frances Cleveland. Frances Folsom Cleveland Preston holds the distinction of being the youngest First Lady of the United States. She was 21 years old when she married President Grover Cleveland in 1886 during his first term in office, making her a prominent figure in American political history. What is the medical term for abnormally low body temperature? Hypothermia. Hypothermia is a medical emergency that occurs when your body loses heat faster than it can produce it, causing a dangerously low body temperature. Normal body temperature is around 37 degrees Celsius, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and hypothermia is generally defined as a body temperature below 35 degrees Celsius, 95 degrees Fahrenheit. What is the name of cities in Argentina and Spain that are both capitals of provinces of the same name? Córdoba. Córdoba is a unique name shared by significant cities in both Spain and Argentina, each serving as the capital of a province also named Córdoba. The Spanish Córdoba is famous for its historic mosque cathedral, while the Argentine Córdoba is a major cultural and economic hub. What linguistic phenomenon is exemplified by the phrase, a man, a plan, a canal, Panama? Palindrome. A palindrome is a word, number, phrase, or other sequence of characters which reads the same backward as forward. The phrase, a man, a plan, a canal, Panama, is a famous example of a perfect English palindrome, attributed to Lee Mercer. What is the maximum possible duration for a total solar eclipse? 7 minutes 31 seconds. A total solar eclipse occurs when the moon completely blocks the sun, casting a shadow on Earth. Due to the relative speeds and orbital mechanics of the Earth, Moon, and Sun, the longest a total solar eclipse can last at any given location is approximately 7 minutes and 31 seconds. In his 1973 book, Seven Who Shaped Our Destiny, historian Richard B. Morris identified Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, John Jay, James Madison, and Alexander Hamilton as the key figures in what capacity? Founding Fathers. The term, Founding Fathers, refers to the group of American leaders who played a crucial role in leading the American Revolution against Great Britain and establishing the United States of America. These individuals were instrumental in drafting the Declaration of Independence, fighting the Revolutionary War, and creating the U.S. Constitution. What is the title of Joseph Heller's most famous novel? Catch-22. Joseph Heller's novel, Catch-22, published in 1961, is a satirical anti-war book set during World War II. It critiques the absurdities of war and bureaucracy, and its title has become a popular idiom describing a no-win situation. Sir Henry Bessemer is renowned for his significant contribution to which industrial process? Developing a process for the manufacture of steel. Sir Henry Bessemer was a British inventor whose revolutionary Bessemer process, developed in the 1850s, was the first inexpensive industrial process for the mass production of steel from molten pig iron. This innovation dramatically reduced the cost of steel production, making it widely available for construction and infrastructure. The artists William Harnett, Annabelle Carracci, Abraham Van Buren, Juan Sanchez Cotan, Jean-Baptiste Simeon Chardin, Vincent van Gogh, Edouard Manet, Fernand Léger, Georges Braque, Giorgio Morandi, Paul Cézanne, and Pablo Picasso are all associated with which genre of painting? Still life. A still life is a work of art depicting inanimate objects, either natural, food, flowers, dead animals, or man-made, drinking glasses, books, jewelry, etc. This genre has been explored by artists across various periods and movements, from Baroque masters to Impressionists, Cubists, and beyond. Founded in 1950, which company holds the distinction of being the world's first independent credit card company? Diners Club. Diners Club, founded by Frank X. McNamara and Ralph Schneider in 1950, was the world's first independent credit card company. Initially conceived to allow users to pay for meals at multiple restaurants with a single card, it paved the way for the modern credit card industry and changed consumer spending habits globally. George Hepplewhite, an influential figure in the 18th century, is renowned for his contributions to the design and creation of what? Furniture. George Hepplewhite was a prominent 18th century English cabinet maker and furniture designer. His distinct neoclassical style, characterized by delicate proportions, elegant curves, and the use of contrasting veneers and inlays, significantly influenced English and American furniture design. Which item of clothing, associated with a significant social reform movement, was named after an American women's rights and temperance advocate? Bloomers. Bloomers are a type of women's undergarment or trousers, named after Amelia Bloomer, an American women's rights and temperance advocate. Bloomer popularized the garment in the mid-19th century as a more practical and less restrictive alternative to traditional heavy skirts, advocating for dress reform as part of the broader women's rights movement. Trypanosomiasis, an infectious disease affecting humans and animals, is primarily transmitted by which vector? Setzer fly. Trypanosomiasis, also known as sleeping sickness in humans or nagna in animals, is a parasitic disease caused by protozoan parasites of the genus Trypanosoma. It is endemic in sub-Saharan Africa and is transmitted through the bite of infected TSE flies, genus Glossina, which act as biological vectors for the parasite. The islands of Skye and Mull are part of which island group? Hebrides. The Hebrides are an archipelago off the west coast of mainland Scotland, divided into the Inner and Outer Hebrides. The Isle of Skye and the Isle of Mull are significant islands within the Inner Hebrides, renowned for their stunning landscapes, Gaelic culture, and unique ecosystems. What does the Spanish word, bonanza, mean? Fine weather. The Spanish word, bonanza, literally translates to fair weather, or calm sea. In English, it has also acquired the meaning of a sudden increase in wealth, good fortune, or a rich ore deposit, often associated with a windfall or a period of prosperity. By what name is the 17th century dramatist Jean-Baptiste Poquelin better known? Molière. Jean-Baptiste Poquelin, universally known by his stage name Molière, was an influential French playwright, actor, and poet of the 17th century. He is celebrated as one of the greatest masters of comedy in Western literature, renowned for his satirical plays that critiqued societal vices. What was the typical life expectancy for someone who contracted the bubonic plague, the most common form during the Black Death, 1348 to 1350, which had a mortality rate of 30 to 75%? 8 days. The bubonic plague, a primary form of the Black Death, was characterized by a rapid progression of symptoms, including fever, chills, and swollen lymph nodes, buboes. Due to the lack of effective treatments, infected individuals often succumbed within a week to 10 days, contributing to its devastating mortality rates. What is the study of the relationship between the motion of a body and the forces acting upon it? Dynamics. Dynamics is a fundamental branch of classical mechanics that examines how forces influence the motion of objects. It builds upon Newton's laws of motion to explain phenomena such as acceleration, momentum, and the interaction between mass and force. What is the final city in the following sequence? St. Louis, Oklahoma City, Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, Flagstaff, Arizona. San Bernardino. This sequence of cities traces a significant portion of the historic U.S. Route 66, an iconic highway stretching from Chicago, Illinois, to Santa Monica, California. San Bernardino, California, is one of the final major cities on this legendary route, which played a vital role in American travel and commerce. Where is Mount Fujiyama located? Japan. Mount Fuji, also known as Fujiyama, is Japan's highest peak and an active stratovolcano. It is a sacred mountain and a UNESCO World Heritage Site, deeply significant in Japanese culture and art, and a popular subject in artistic works. According to Jacobus the Voragine's golden legend, which saint saved a princess from a dragon in Cyrene, Libya, by capturing it and offering to kill it if the people converted to Christianity? Saint George. Saint George is a legendary Christian martyr and one of the most venerated saints in Christianity. The story of Saint George and the Dragon, famously recounted in The Golden Legend, portrays him as a chivalrous figure embodying bravery and spiritual triumph over evil. Which 16th century dramatist wrote plays for the Earl of Nottingham's company? Christopher Marlowe. Christopher Marlowe was a leading English dramatist of the Elizabethan era, renowned for his tragic plays and influential use of blank verse. He was a contemporary of William Shakespeare and contributed significantly to the development of English theatre, with his works performed by prominent companies like the Lord Admiral's Men, which was patronized by the Earl of Nottingham. Complete the title of a seminal book by Dr. Benjamin Spock, The Common Sense Book of Baby and Child Care. Dr. Benjamin Spock's The Common Sense Book of Baby and Child Care, first published in 1946, became one of the most influential books on child rearing in history. It revolutionized parenting approaches by encouraging parents to trust their own instincts rather than adhere strictly to rigid rules. Which traditional British pantomime is based on the story of a historical Lord Mayor of London? Dick Whittington. Dick Whittington and His Cat is a famous English folk tale in pantomime. It narrates the story of a young man who travels to London to make his fortune and eventually becomes the Lord Mayor, a legend loosely inspired by the historical Richard Whittington, a successful merchant who served as Lord Mayor of London multiple times. Before 1991, of which larger country was Slovenia a part? Yugoslavia. Slovenia was one of the 6 republics that constituted the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. In June 1991, Slovenia declared its independence, initiating the 10-day war and becoming one of the first former Yugoslav republics to achieve full sovereignty, thereby contributing to the dissolution of Yugoslavia. What is the 5th letter of the Greek alphabet? Epsilon. The Greek alphabet is a writing system used for the Greek language since the late 9th or early 8th century BC. Epsilon is the 5th letter, often represented as epsilon, uppercase, and epsilon, lowercase, and is a fundamental part of the Greek language with applications in various scientific and mathematical fields. What important discovery was made in 1964 by radio astronomers Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson? Cosmic microwave background radiation. Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson discovered cosmic microwave background (CMB) radiation in 1964, a faint glow of microwave radiation coming from all directions in space. This discovery provided crucial evidence supporting the Big Bang theory, confirming predictions made earlier about the universe's origin and evolution. Where in London was the first Globe Theatre built in 1599? Bankside, Southwark. The first Globe Theatre, famously associated with William Shakespeare's plays, was built in 1599 in Bankside, Southwark, London. It was a purpose-built Elizabethan playhouse that played a crucial role in the development of English drama before being destroyed by fire in 1613. Sir Edwin Henry Landseer's painting, Monarch of the Glen, featured what animal? Deer. Sir Edwin Henry Landseer's iconic painting, Monarch of the Glen, completed in 1851, depicts a majestic stag standing prominently on a mountainside. This work is a celebrated example of Romantic art and has become a powerful symbol of the Scottish Highlands and wildlife. What is a frog before it matures? Tadpole. Before maturing into an adult frog, a frog begins its life as a tadpole, an aquatic larval stage. Tadpoles typically have gills for breathing underwater, a tail for propulsion, and primarily feed on algae and plant matter, undergoing metamorphosis to transform into their adult form. Who set a water speed record of 225.6 meters p.h. at Coniston Water in September 1956? Donald Campbell. Donald Campbell was a British speed record breaker who achieved numerous world records on both land and water during the 1950s and 1960s. His water speed record of 225.6 miles per hour on Coniston Water in 1956 was set in his jet-powered hydroplane, Bluebird K-7. Which city, rebuilt in the Art Deco style after being largely razed by an earthquake in 1931, has become recognized as architecturally unique, and in 2007 was nominated for UNESCO World Heritage Site status? Napier, New Zealand. Napier, New Zealand, is globally renowned for its unique Art Deco architecture, a direct result of its reconstruction after a devastating earthquake in 1931. This distinct architectural heritage has led to its recognition for UNESCO World Heritage Site status, highlighting its cultural and historical significance. The London market at Smithfield deals in what? Meat. Smithfield Market in London is one of the oldest wholesale markets in the city, with a history tracing back over 800 years. It primarily specializes in the trade of meat, serving as a crucial distribution hub for butchers and restaurants throughout the UK. In 1979, Lord Louis Mountbatten was killed when an IRA bomb exploded where? On his boat. Lord Louis Mountbatten, a distinguished British naval officer and statesman, was assassinated on August 27, 1979, by the Provisional Irish Republican Army, IRA. A bomb placed on his fishing boat, Shadow V, detonated off the coast of Mullaghmore, County Sligo, Ireland, killing Mountbatten and 3 others. What does the Russian word, Sputnik, mean? Fellow traveler. The Russian word, Sputnik, translates to fellow traveler, or companion. This term gained global prominence as the name for the first artificial Earth satellite, Sputnik 1, launched by the Soviet Union on October 4, 1957, which inaugurated the space age. On which mountain does the famous religious statue above Rio de Janeiro stand? Corcovado. Corcovado is a mountain in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, renowned for being the location of the Christ the Redeemer statue. This iconic Art Deco statue is a global symbol of Christianity and a major tourist attraction, offering panoramic views of the city. What is the term for the reversed image on film from which a photograph is printed? Negative. A photographic negative is a reversed tone image on a transparent film or plate, where the brightest parts of the subject appear darkest and vice versa. It serves as the primary medium from which a positive photographic print can be produced. What was the primary mode of transport utilized by the Japanese army during their invasion of Singapore in World War II? Bicycles. During the Malayan campaign and the invasion of Singapore in World War II, the Japanese army remarkably used bicycles for rapid troop deployment. This unconventional but effective method allowed them to achieve swift mobility through jungle terrain, surprising Allied forces and contributing significantly to their strategic success. In which cathedral was Thomas Becket murdered? Canterbury Cathedral. Thomas Becket, Archbishop of Canterbury, was famously murdered within Canterbury Cathedral on December 29, 1170. His assassination, stemming from a dispute with King Henry II over the rights of the church, led to his canonization and transformed the cathedral into a major pilgrimage site. What significant design advancement in bicycles was introduced in 1885? Wheels of equal size, with a chain-driven rear wheel. The year 1885 marked the introduction of the safety bicycle, a revolutionary design featuring two wheels of equal size and a chain-driven rear wheel. This innovation, notably popularized by John Kemp Starley, dramatically improved bicycle stability and safety, making cycling accessible to a much broader public than the earlier high-wheeled, penny farthings. France's third longest border, after Spain and Switzerland, is with which country? Belgium. France shares its longest land borders with Belgium, Spain, and Switzerland, among others. Belgium, located to France's north, forms a significant part of its shared European frontier, impacting economic and cultural exchanges. In the U.S. presidential election, 2000, in which U.S. state was there a controversy over requests for hand recounts of votes that went as far as the U.S. Supreme Court? Florida. The 2000 U.S. presidential election was marked by a highly contested recount in Florida, ultimately decided by the Supreme Court case Bush vs. Gore. The controversy highlighted issues of electoral procedure and the role of the judiciary in democratic processes.